Hey, my name is Jesse. This is the Auditorium. I react to VGM. I also play guitar. I've been a musician for a very long time, so my dissections are a little more musical. If you're new here, well, welcome. It's nice to have you. Today I'm doing a Patreon request for Dennis, the legend Dennis. Final Fantasy 15. It's been a while. It's been a while. I know that community is rambunctious and loud. This says Final Fantasy 15 episode Ardyn Somnus boss fight theme. Now I have checked out Somnus before. I'll put that right here. It's been a while, so I don't really remember what it sounds like. Excuse me. But I do remember it being more on the sadder side, maybe ballad type, slower. I don't recall, but I think that rings a bell. Either way, this is Somnus boss fight theme. So thank you, Dennis. Hello, Final Fantasy 15 community. It's been a while. Let's go. Taking some risk with the percussion. Is that a bassoon? This is a very bold song. That's so cool. we going next? What is going on right now? I don't even know why I'm laughing. I shouldn't be laughing, but it was just... Okay, let's get into some thoughts. Holy crap, that was impressive. Okay. This time I'm going to go in order of the notes I took in, because this just shows you how all over the place that was. What is this called? Somnus boss fight. Okay. Well, let's just get one thing out of the way. I didn't recognize any of the Somnus I heard before. I don't know if there was leitmotifs. Nothing. That was just... I just don't remember. It's been too long. But what I can tell you is that that stuck out on its own by far. So, at first, it sounded to me like sort of Danny Elfman, you know, composer for The Nightmare Before Christmas, composed the Simpsons theme song, you know, that kind of... He's just great. He's just fantastic. And then, you know, it started to remind me of The Hunchback of Notre Dame, the Disney movie. And to this day, I'm drawing a blank right now, but that genre of whatever that was, and it's pretty much that movie had pretty much a soundtrack. It was very chaotic and orchestral and kind of scary, especially like during the last fight with Frodo, which I'm not going to ruin. So it reminded me of that. Well, let's talk about the percussions. The percussions were risky. They were, you know what I'm talking about, those weird tail end time signature random riffs that they just threw in there for absolutely no reason, but but you know, for the reason of me talking about it, you know, it's gonna get, they know what they were doing. They're like, oh, let's throw this, let's screw with them a little bit, because it was very jarring. It was very jarring to just be in this time and all of a sudden just and then go back. So there's that. This kind of reminded me of two things. So we come full circle, so now I can start recommending songs that I've reacted to. Hopefully I get this right, because I don't know the series by heart, but this kind of reminded me of Ace Combat. Sort of same, similar, like climbing orchestral energy. I believe the song is called Megalith, Agnes Die. I could be wrong, but actually, just to be honest, like any Ace Combat, really. And I've never heard of Ace Combat until you guys threw it at me, so blame them. Also, towards the end, that's when it got really, like, the tail end of that song, the last, like, 2 minutes, that's when it really turned into something, because all of a sudden, for the first time, I believe, on this channel, operatic vocals. Opera. Yes, like breaking a glass opera. And at least I can't recall any other time I've heard that. I love that kind of stuff. For example, one of my favorite movies from one of my favorite composers, Ennio Morricone. I've talked about him many times here. He has a movie called Once Upon a Time in the West. And I cannot remember for the life of me what the song is called, but by the time it's over, I'll have it linked down below. But once that song kicks in, you'll know exactly why I mentioned it. I'll just leave it at that. But, you know, props to the opera. The production of Final Fantasy XV is something else. It is actually, in my humble opinion, and I don't mean this in any sort of disrespect, don't think of what I'm going to say as favoritism or anything. Each Final Fantasy is special because of what they bring to the table, as opposed to what they do better or worse than others. So that's what makes them shine, from what I've noticed, is that each of their entries are magical for what it is. Now, for 15, I can safely say that the music is produced the best out of all of them. Like, you know, I don't know if it's budget or just if they're purposely trying to make it sound as epic as possible. Every time I've heard Final Fantasy 15, I feel like I'm climbing Mount Everest. So I cannot take that away. 15 has an incredible production in the music. I have to give them that. Everything sounds so pristine and just world class. World class. And then finally, the best for last. I wasn't going to mention it because I'm looking right at the image, but I'm going to just go ahead and say, does this image have to do with any part of that song? Because, as you can see, good and bad, split down the middle. And I got that from that song. I felt, you know, chaos, but I also felt order and compassion. And then back to chaos, and then order, and like, it was mostly, I say it was mostly chaotic. I wouldn't say it was 50-50 down the middle like this image. It was really uneasy. But, you know, they brought it down and gave you this sense of relief. But those senses of relief were so minute. By the time you calm down, you know, here comes round 3, 4, 5. Just one of the more unique songs I've heard on this channel. I've heard lots of orchestral stuff so far, but, you know, quality-wise, all the things it reminded me of a favorite movie, it reminded me of other games, the percussion risks, the opera, reminded me of Disney. I don't know what episode Ardyn is. I don't, you know, just whatever. It just stirred up a lot of flavors in my head. And I think that's why I started laughing, to be honest. I got kind of like nervous. Like, you know, I felt like every piston was firing off in each direction. I'm like, okay, well, that's something. Oh, well, that's something else. Oh, but now, oh, okay. You know, it was a lot of that. Like, it felt like the way I talk. You know, I kind of have this sort of ADD type thing, just bouncing between subject to subject. So that song was pretty much Jesse speaking. So that's why I'm laughing, because that was me. No, I'm kidding. I cannot compete. I cannot even fathom comparing myself to that. I actually don't know who the composer is. I can tell you it didn't sound like Yoko, but it might have been, because I'm pretty sure Yoko's part of this. But once again, I don't look that stuff up anymore. I just let you guys tell me. I like to just go in without any knowledge, and the less the better. So less is more. Thank you, Dennis, for that, for yet again throwing just me off completely and making me nervous laugh. It's always good to feel something. If you would like to get your request in the same way Dennis did, they are a Patreon. You can do so on Patreon with all of these people. Or PayPal if you just want to do a one-time thing. Neither are necessary, but they guarantee that I will check out your song eventually. And now I have introduced the weekly draw poll, where I take 3 from PayPal, 3 from Patreon, and you may just get lucky. So you could probably sign up today, and there is a chance that it gets picked. Actually, that just happened. I did my first roll. I spun a wheel on my Discord. And someone who signed up about a week ago got picked. So, hey, it could happen. Speaking of Discord, you should go follow it. It's right here. That's where me and the community are. There's 500 of us in there. It's a lot of VGM nerds. Whew, let me tell you. And, you know, I don't know what else to say. That was just very unique, very rambunctious, edgy, nice, beautiful, scary. Insert adjective. So thank you, Dennis. And with that, I shall leave you. My name is Jesse. This is the Auditorium. I hope you had a great time. I did. And if you didn't, well, have a great time anyways. Until next time, dudes and dudettes, take it easy.